architect, yeah. So you can see we got the excavator. The house is coming down, but before it comes down, I want to take the opportunity to go inside. We're going to bust open some walls and see if we can't educate ourselves in problems that this house might have had over the last 40 years. Let's head on.
All right, tools in hand. Let's get after it. Now we have this little hole here, so it's a bigger hole now. You can see where there was some water damage. You know, but this is pretty dry, although certainly the mice have found a home up there. There is a little evidence of water. We'll go right down this jam. So, a couple things, not a lot of evidence of water, but one of the things that you can tell is the house was very air leaky because the insulation you can see has become the filter fabric for air movement across the wall. So what it does is as the air moves through the wall, it leaves all the dirt and dust behind. You can see there's kind of the virgin insulation there, but all along the outside where the wind can get at it, it's nice and black. So you can definitely see there's some holes, air leakage, that is more than others. There's a little bit of water staining in there, but not really enough that I would say this was a horrible install. So let's see if we can't, I don't know if we can get this off. I want to see down in this area here. Dropping off of there. Yeah, nothing really there either. So, pretty successful. And as I said, house is a 1960s vintage. So, now, because we don't have evidence of, you know, heavy water leakage, doesn't mean we didn't have any. Because this wall, you can tell from the insulation, has had a lot of air moving through it, as well as it's not, let's see if I can take this off a little more gently. You can see there's a significant cavity there. I mean, we're talking 3.5 inches. This stuff is, I don't know, maybe 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches at best, inset stapled. So there's a bunch of air moving through here. So one of the saving graces of these old houses is the fact that they might in fact have leaked, but there's so much air movement across that wall that the drywall is kind of working like a very mediocre air barrier. And so you get a lot of air movement through the backside, and we can see that by evidence of, you know, the blackness on the insulation. That tells that story. And so, but it's that air movement that is actually helping the wall. So when people talk about, oh, well, houses need to breathe, some people are talking about that, in fact, that, okay, it needs to breathe. But the problem with that is that's a very energy inefficient way to operate a house. Now, there is a saving grace in the fact that it actually helps with the wall system, but the penalty you pay is, you know, in energy efficiency and in your energy bills. But a little bit of dust. Maybe we'll open up the other side and we'll see if there's anything over there. Stop it for. So we opened up the right side of that bay, very much the same. Not a whole lot of evidence of major leakage up there, but you can see just a lot of heavy air movement, especially up near that top plate where, you know, we have a pretty good air pressure up there. So, all right, well, let's go find another window and another suspect and we'll check it out. All right, so I moved down across the house and we're into the dining room. It's a slightly different vintage. While the rest of the house is about 63 years old, this wall assembly, while the frame is the 63, the insulation and such is maybe about 10 plus years. And you can see here, they went with an unfaced bat that pretty much filled the cavity, and then we put this poly facer on. But a couple things that are interesting. Now, I'm not a huge advocate for poly, but two things that are different in this wall than in the previous wall is, one, the insulation is pretty much filling the cavity as opposed to being inset, as well as it has the poly. Now, I'm not, like I said, not a huge advocate for poly, but what the poly can do is become an unintended kind of poorly installed air barrier, but still be somewhat effective in allowing or not allowing air to move across that wall. Because what's interesting here, now it is only, 10 plus years, but you can see there's a little air movement across the lines. So you can see where those board lines are, but this is a lot less than the insulation over there. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's filling the full cavity, but that poly is really kind of helping air to not move across that assembly as easy as the other ones. So, and it's evident in, you know, the unfaced bat here. We are getting a little dust settling. You can see again, like I said, on the lines and around the edges, but for the most part, this part of the wall is performing much better than the other part of the wall. All right, so I stepped outside. You can see there's a window up there at the end of the dormer. There's no kick-out flashing, so, you know, as I walk around the house and I look for candidates that could be a potential leak problem, that one is definitely at the top of the list. So let's go, we'll head inside and we'll take apart the head up there and see if we find anything. All right, so that dormer is right out here. So the area of suspect is right here. As you can see, we pulled it out or busted it open. I mean, it's a lot of the same, not a whole lot of evidence of water leakage. There is a little. You can see the paper's gone through a number of wetting and drying cycles there. You can see here, there is a little evidence on the backside of the drywall. There's some light evidence of mold, so there was some moisture in there, but it wasn't anywhere near what I thought we could have found. Over here, though, there was a little stain on the ceiling, so I opened that up, and this one here, you can just see the insulation. Like, it's dry now because it's summertime, but this has gone through a whole series of wetting and drying and, you know, soaking up water and then drying. There's a lot of dirt and dust you can see maneuvering through there, as well as up here. There's even some, you know, initial mold growth on there. But this paper is just very, you know, very fragile. So it's gone through a whole series of wetting and drying cycles there. And, you know, you can see it there, as well as, you know, it's just been a big air filter. So, all right. So, anyways, we didn't find the golden treasure we were looking for. But like all things, it's a learning experience. So anyways, hopefully you enjoyed that. Talked through a few things, potential water problems, but stay tuned. We're tearing down this house in a couple days, and we have a pretty spectacular build coming up. So we're gonna have a year's worth of videos that we'll be bringing this one to you. I don't have a title for it yet, so I gotta figure that out too. So until next time, Steve Basic Architect. Long live our buildings.